first.
Okay, wat is dit met Rob Foster en saam met jou en Neil, en hy het my of hy nou sy mojo teruggekry het, is so 'n paar woorde oor sy performance.
Ja, net dankbaar dat dit so goed gaan met hom, jy weet, wat ons het altyd, natuurlik toe ek hier weg is uit Suid-Afrika uit het, soos jy sê, was hy een van ons goeie sterspelers en nou ek is net bly, hy kry weer daai vorm terug, so hy speel goeie rugby en soos jy sê, dalk is dit net die feit dat hy nou weer weet om ou self is saam met Neil, so krediet aan dit, maar ja, ons is net dankbaar dat hy so vorm gekry het.
Het hulle 'n spesiale plan gehad? Ek het gesien hy naby die rugby speel ons 'n spesiale plan gehad met Esterhuizen ook.
Nee, ons weet ons, ek gaan nou nie die presiese plan sê wat ons wil nie, want jy weet nooit wat in die toekoms gebeur nie, maar ek dink Harold, weet ons, natuurlik is rugby 'n besluitnemingssport en die spelers het sekere vryheid en sekere goed in ons raamwerk wat hulle weet ons na kyk en Harold het net weer die geleenthede gevat vanaand deur te sien wat weet die spasie wat hy wil aanval.
En dan net ietsie oor Morne Smit, die ouens kla almal dat Wilke loop, maar ek vind nooit gewys, hy's nou 28, ek begin weer ryk word, ek vir allereerste helfte skitterend gespeel.
Ja, kyk, dis hoekom het Wilke uit van sy 3 weke rus afgekom en ons geweet, ons weet, Wilke is Wilke, hy gaan vir jou speel, maar die tempo gaan hoog wees en kom ons kyk hoe lank ons vir Morne kan druk en dan kan Wilke sy ding doen, maar ons moet daai vertroue hê, weet François Klopper oefen goed, hy's ongelukkig dat hy nie kan begin die Kuta, Mchunu oefen goed, gister het ons ekstra spelers teen die Sharks se ekstra spelers hier gespeel op Loftus en hy het baie goed gespeel en geskram, so ons het bevoorreg dat daar lekker kompetisie is, maar Morne, jy weet, soos jy sê, hy is nou op 'n goeie plek, ouderdom gewys vir 'n vaste voorspeler, en hy het net daai een keer daar net voor hy afgehaal is, was hy nou nie op sy beste nie, maar ja, dit is al hoe ou groei is op die speel en ons moet daai vertroue in hom wys.
So,
Johan, how disruptive is having the game? I know it's only 15 minutes, but how disruptive is it? Because also I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a dry game, but suddenly you've got a cloudburst. Just the sort of logistics around sort of staying on task. How difficult is it?
Yeah, I mean, it is always, you know, challenging for a team, but luckily it's for both teams. Obviously, when we saw the rain, we thought it's going to be actually longer than that because of the lightning and stuff. So, you know, the discussions was already that, you know, we don't know if there's going to be a delay, but if it's a delay, we'll adapt our pre-game routine. And credit to the players, you know, once they confirmed it's only going to be 15 minutes, we just adjust the time. So they just had to wait 15 minutes, but from there on, we followed the same routine for when the kickers go out and when the players go out and warm up. So it wasn't that massive. We thought it's going to rain during the game, and we obviously thought then we'll adapt tactically a little bit. But once we saw it cleared up, we stick to what we wanted to do. There was one or two things we changed, but not much.
So, just looking at the at the game itself. You guys came in. I think you had a game in hand and were still above the Sharks. What does that mean? What does it mean for you to not have wasted that game in hand and actually gone full toll with the 5 points?
No, I mean you have to be grateful, Sam, and appreciate the fact that you got the victory. But the fact that we didn't have a good start to the season, we can't get carried away. There's a lot of work we have to keep building and keep getting better as a team. And we all know in every competition, home games is important, and we didn't do well in the first part of the season. So this is just basically a next step. That's all. That the reality is, if you didn't get the result, the pressure will just amount on you massively, because then you've lost another home game, and if you didn't get the win, you're just going to struggle on the lock and everywhere else. So for us, it was important just to keep keep in touch with everybody. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, if we look at ourselves and make sure we prepare well and give ourselves a chance, who knows, then where the season will go. So we can't get ahead of ourselves. We must just keep taking it week by week.
Sorry, Andy, last one for you.
For me.
From me.
Oh.
Given your body of work with this team, in terms of whatever you may have complained about when the team wasn't doing well, what was the proudest aspect of the performance for you?
Just our composure. On exits, we exit well every time the Sharks came. Those kicks 5 meters from our goal line, we exit really well. And then when they got the momentum back, and it went 22-5, 22-10, and it looked like they got, the next score will really make a game of it again. We showed the composure to, first of all, exit well, and then when we got the opportunity to score, we scored, and basically, took that little bit of flame that they started to get away from them. So for me that was the proudest moment, because if you think back where we were, Bordeaux, those games we had a lead, and then once the team got momentum, we would let it just keep rolling over us. So we showed a lot of composure.
Thanks, MVA. Last.
You mentioned the game against the Sharks in Durban, how slippery the ball was, and this little rainstorm was exactly enough to make it slippery again. The one thing that I noticed that you guys, you rarely spilled the ball. The Sharks spilled a lot of ball, for example. Your skill seems to have taken a step up. That seems to be something that you've been working on.
Yeah, again, it's a credit to Neil and credit to John and all the players. I felt, the players has really worked hard on those errors. And I think, I just think, Emmy, I think the reality is, it is, even though it rained, it dried up enough for us to play the game we wanted to play. Although, like you said, I think they as well, we must credit the players that put a lot of pressure on the skills from the Sharks, through our defence. But that specific day was quite humid, so every little ball was slippery. Where probably once they tried it and you start in the lineup, as long as it doesn't get on the floor, it stays a little bit more drier. So it was a little bit different, but again, we're just grateful that we got the result, and it's all just grace.
In terms of your David starting at fullback number 1, and then Sebastian at wing, but often we saw them at centre. Was that a sort of plan? The one try that Sebastian sort of made when he recovered the ball, kicked over it, and regathered it. Why was he at centre? Was it part of the plan?
Yeah, well, I think once that you start going into your kicking game, positions change, because let's say the wing catches it, the fullback must go clean or whatever, and then the other wing works closer to the ball and so on. So then you may end up in the shape that you are as a centre. So that obviously that's the scenarios you train during the week, and everybody must be comfortable. It also depends on sometimes on the on your plan on from a line out, what area do you want to play, and then the positions change. But I'm sure that the scenario you're talking about is probably more where the Sharks kicked, and we had to, then players, you don't know who's going to catch the ball, who's going to be in the ruck, and then obviously that outside backs, your wingers specifically, they can't stay on their wing, they have to change positions.
And then David at fullback, succession planning, we know going forward you need to have a fullback plan. What did you think?
No, I think he did that really well. We were very pleased with David's performance. There was off the top of my head, one opportunity that I felt he could have moved the ball, instead of trying to run with it. But overall, happy for his performance, and something to build on.
Congratulations, well done.
Carl.
Akkus, how far is Johan Ackerman from waking up with a smile?
You have to wake up every morning with a smile, like Carl, because otherwise you're dead, eh? Life is challenging, as it is. We go, everybody fights his own fights. Sometimes you're lucky if everything is smooth, but you just probably got a little bit more pressure and a little bit more things to deal with if you don't wake up with a smile. But you know, I'm grateful every morning if I get out of bed with no pain. So, you know, so that's already putting a smile on my face.
Let me rephrase then. How far on the road to the maximum or the best Vodacom team are you now?
Yes, I think it's, you know, it's one will always have to cherish a win. So for that you will be grateful and you'll wake up tomorrow feeling good and a smile. But the reality is, you know, I say success is written in ice, and tomorrow the sun will shine again. So, you know, the reality is you can't, you know, it gives us confidence and it gives the players belief, but the reality is, you know, we're not playing next week, but the next game is going to bring different challenges, and you'll have to do everything all over again, handle the pressure again. So, you know, embrace and enjoy the victories, but know that, you know, when will people be satisfied, you know? So you will have to keep on fighting and enjoy the good moments, but fight through the moments that's not so good. So, yeah, so we haven't achieved anything, to be honest. If, you know, a good win is only as good as the season is going to finish ultimately. So we just have to knuckle down and keep fighting.
The back there.
Coach, this is the second game in a row where you've had quite a number of big points on the board against your opponents. You're also very resilient on defense today as well. From a personal progress perspective, does this Bulls team now start to look more like a Johan Ackerman Bulls team?
It's a difficult question because, you know, we wanted to work hard, you know, in every game, and even the games that we didn't win, you know, then I was asked a question, you know, about all the things that went wrong, and yet you prepare the whole week on the fence and on scoring points, but it didn't go the way we wanted to go. And now that we did score the points and we show a lot of resilience on the fence, you know, now it's easy to say, is this the way you want to go? But the reality is, you know, like I just said, every game you just have to reset. You can't rely on what happened. So we just have to keep working on our standards and make sure that the players, you know, buy into the plan and execute what we want to execute and handle those pressure moments. Like I said, tonight I felt our exits was really good, and that was probably the key. You know, every time they kicked where that ball rolled out close to our try line, we didn't have a set piece in our 22. We had a set piece far outside the half. So, and that makes a massive difference. So it's those small little executions that I think we must keep on progressing to answer your question.
And the Sharks, they came out firing in the second half. You were able to withstand that pressure. How pleased were you with the period of resistance, but also were you concerned about letting them get the ascendancy and sort of not starting the second half like you started the first?
No, that was one of our messages in the halftime. Obviously, we had the privilege to play with JP a lot of games at the Sharks, and you know he was a quality player and he's a quality man, and I knew he's going to get, you know, his team fired up, and that they're not that, you know, 22-0 is not enough to say the game is done and dusted. So, and exactly what happened is they got back in the game. So, you know, again, we probably should have taken that 3 points under the post, and instead of going, you know, 22-5, go 25-5, and we tapped and we lost that ball, and then they scored. So it could have had an impact, but the guys showed that composure and again go and score and got the momentum back. So that's the pleasing factor. But they did obviously come back that we expected in that second half.
I think lastly just the last one, Coach, sorry. Now, again, after another good victory, there's another break in between the Stormers game. Is that a bit frustrating for you if you want to see momentum from your team to just kick on and have another run of games?
Yeah, it is, you know, but luckily it's for everybody. You know, it's not just for us. We have to sit back and watch the other team play, and now we must almost restart again. So that's the positive, but you know, it would have been nice if we could have kept the momentum, like I said, after the Lions as well. But you know, that's why I was so pleased with Boland that we just got that hit out. Now we've got another game So it is 2 games that we played, so hopefully this 1 week won't make that massive difference. And long term, you know, we look like we got through the game well from an injury point of view, so I'm thankful for that. And then if Johan Grobler will be back, and then hopefully we will be good to play the Stormers, because after that, like I said, it's a massive block of games without any breaks. So let's enjoy this breaks while we got them.
Thanks.
Just as a follow-up on that, Coach, the last couple of performances, the guys have bounced really well with that gap, with these breaks. Would you say that these gaps are now sort of like you're at a place as a team where it's a bit advantageous that guys get rested and you get to really work on the things that you need to work on before going on to the last part of the season?
Yeah, we will obviously, review the game and watch a few things. This week will be a little bit different than normal. You get the balance between resting but also working on things. Like say, one of our weeks we had completely off, but the other week we may have a Monday, Tuesday off, and then train Wednesday, Friday, and that's the days you work on things. But this week we only got the guys together for 1 day, and then all those 15 guys go off to the alignment camp. So your next training is basically that we got is only just to keep the guys active and make sure their bodies get almost checked. We can't, from a team perspective, we can't do really much. So it's more just to get, like I said, everybody through their physical training side. So that's our plan for the week.
Are you comfortable with just in terms of the system where it is now, how it's adapting to these disruptions, whether it's alignment camps or
yeah, there's not much we can do about it. You get the fixtures in the beginning of the season, and you see where you play and where the Six Nations is and where that block of off weeks are, and then it's obviously those like the Lions pick that week to play their game that's not over December, and we picked that the Stormers to play on that weekend when we play them, and now we all knew that, and we have to deal with it. And like I said, sometimes it works well. It gives players that comes out of injury extra couple of weeks. Sometimes it does hold your momentum. Sometimes you need that break to almost to regroup. So you never know where you are in that season. Every season is probably going to be different. But the reality is, everybody know it's coming. We used it to rest a few Springboks that compulsory rest. I think the Sharks the same. So that's the challenging side for the coaches. That everybody's got the same scenario, but everybody's probably got a different way of dealing with it. But ultimately, you have to make a decision and then live by that.
Final question, please. Okay.
Victor Matthews het altyd gesê hulle trek energie van die skare af as daar baie mense is. Dis waarskynlik die eerste keer in meer as 'n jaar waar daar meer as 30,000 mense was vandag. Is dit so, hoe voel die spelers daaroor om voor baie meer mense te speel as wat die afgelope tyd gebeur het?
Nee, ek glo dit is so. Ek glo as jy my nou vra as 'n oud speler, weet ek dit is baie lekker om voor 'n groot skare te speel. So ek glo dit sal nooit verander nie. Ek dink hulle het dit geniet. Dis die realiteit. Ons het 'n bietjie iets anders te probeer vanaand. Ons het nie soos tradisioneel by die loftes by mekaar gekom nie. As 'n span, ons het by 'n hotel by mekaar gekom en ons wil graag deur ons mense stap na die kleedkamer toe, maar toe kom die reën, toe besluit die reën bietjie anderste. Gelukkig was daar 'n lekker groepie mense hier voor die hek, want toe moes ons by die hek stop, maar ons is dankbaar hier. Ons kan net vir die mense sê dankie dat hulle uitgekom het en die span ondersteun het, want dit is definitief, soos jy sê, is energie. Natuurlik wil jy dan wen, want die mense kom uit om jou te ondersteun en die spelers besef daai verantwoordelikheid. Dat hulle verteenwoordig van 'n klein seentjie wat hier kom kyk tot 'n ou wat in sy ouderdom is wat die moeite doen om uit te kom, en dit is vir my belangrik. Dat ons altyd besef wie ons verteenwoordig. So ja, so ons is dankbaar en ons is bly dat die mense uitgekom het.
Coach, thanks very much. Guys, thanks. Drive safely.
Dankie julle. Dankie almal.